In primetime news this evening, new study shows most Jamaicans support social media regulations for minors.
Opposition wants increase in local government funding.
And Manchester police say lottery scamming behind uptick in crime. Good evening and welcome to Primetime News. A very special welcome to our viewers on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands and online at onespotmedia.com. I'm Anthony Lug.
And I am Andrea Chisholm. Coming up, we also have the business news.
But Spencer Darlington is here to give us a preview of what's coming up in sports.
Thank you, Anthony. The West Indies have taken a 1-0 lead over Pakistan after a comprehensive victory in the opening test. We'll give you more details in Primetime Sports later.
Thank you, Spencer. There's also primetime weather coming up in this newscast. But before the break, the feedback question.
And this evening we are asking, what are your views on regulating social media use for children?
Share comments online, facebook.com/Television Jamaica, and post on X at TVJ News Center.
Please stay with us. Primetime News returns after this break.
Yeah, I can see what.
Welcome back to Primetime News.
And a special welcome to our viewers on onespotmedia.com as well as TVJ International in the Cayman Islands.
First up this evening, 9 in 10 Jamaicans want stricter measures for minors who use social media.
And 80% of Jamaicans are also appealing for the government to implement a national social media policy for children.
However, they're not supporting an outright ban on social media for minors.
The findings were revealed today in a Ministry of Health commissioned national survey and...
Kalisha Williams has that story.
The statistics are stark. The majority of Jamaicans believe it is full time the government regulates social media use among minors.
The highlights are that 9 out of every 10 respondents, or 90.2%, support government regulation of minors' social media use, while 2.9% expressed opposition. In addition, nearly 84% believe Jamaica should establish a clear national policy framework governing minors' use of social media.
In presenting the results of a national survey, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says it builds on previous studies which show there is a strong link between social media use and an increase in anxiety, depression, and digital addiction among young people and content creators in Jamaica.
Perhaps the most significant finding is not simply that Jamaicans support some levels of government action. It is that they believe this responsibility must be shared. And I was very heartened at that, because oftentimes government is seen as the problem and the solution to every situation.
Lead researcher for the present survey, Dr. Stephen Johnson, said the study was conducted because Jamaica has no comprehensive national policy governing minors' use of social media and why harmful content online is becoming more difficult to detect. And so the survey's aim was to find out how Jamaicans perceive children's use of social media. 1,027 people over the age of 18 were interviewed island-wide.
We also asked them, from your knowledge, within the past 12 months, have any minor in your care experienced any of the following? For the most part, even though it's 16%, persons would have indicated exposure to violent or disturbing content, and exposure to sexual content, and sleep loss or anxiety.
And although the respondents agree that there will be some difficulty regulating social media use, the majority still want something to be done.
In terms of an attitude towards government working with platforms to regulate minors' use of social media, the majority agree, 88.8%. And in terms of regulation of social media use for minors, if they believe it would improve child safety, again, the overwhelming majority.
The overwhelming majority of respondents also believe regulating social media will improve child safety. However, they believe the rights of minors should be balanced, and so they are not calling for an outright ban. On top of that, there are also concerns that children may find ways to bypass the ban. They also want parental consent for minors looking to open social media accounts.
The mean suggested age is 14 years of age. The most popular was 16 years of age. And of course, we're looking at the variance and standard deviation, plus or minus 2. So it's anywhere between 12 and 18.
So with the study conducted, what's next? Dr. Tufton said the main focus now is public awareness through consultation with the relevant stakeholders. And a working group has been formed at the Office of the Prime Minister, chaired by Dr. Andrew Wheatley, to assess the way forward.
It's appropriate that that working group will also incorporate this study as part of the examination, while we will continue to drive the public education, public discourse. So this working group will address responsible social media use among minors as part of its core mandate.
Kelisha Williams, TVJ News.
A parliamentary committee is questioning why Alaska Financial Services Limited wanted to hold some of the money collected through the Support Jamaica website for 45 days. The Public Accounts Committee, PAC, was following up on the Auditor General's report on the matter. Details from Andrea Chisholm.
The Auditor General pointed out donations made via the Support Jamaica website were managed by a private financial services institution. At Tuesday's PAC meeting, the institution was named.
The Alaska Financial Services Limited.
Okay. So we have an arrangement then with them to process transactions through the website. They collect the money initially. They would take their fees and then remit the net amount to the ODPEM account. Is that the arrangement?
That is the arrangement, Chair.
Of the roughly $72.5 million Jamaican dollars collected through the website as at February 23, 2026, LASCO took out roughly $3.4 million for commission fees, GCT, and transaction charges. Of the roughly $1.4 million US dollars collected, over $67,000 was taken out for similar fees. LASCO Financial Services charges US 25 cents per transaction, a 3.9% commission on all gross donations, and 15% GCT.
Acknowledging that at the outset you wouldn't have been able to do this because we had an emergency, but have you done any comparison to determine whether the arrangements with the financial institutions are the best that the government can get in terms of the percentage charge, etc., at this point in time?
We are undertaking that now, Chairman, but we have not gone the way of changing the financial services institution as yet.
Well, I mean, even though you haven't, you should do a little shopping around and find out whether you can get something more attractive.
The Auditor General also pointed out that after deducting the fees, LASCO Financial Services Limited had a 45-day holding period for 30% of the remaining funds. That money was for potential chargebacks.
Why was there proposed a 45-day time frame to retain 30% of all donations? I'm trying to understand the logic for that.
Chair, I wouldn't presume to speak on behalf of the institution. This was something that was sent to the previous finance officer in an email. I can't recall that they would have provided the explicit reasons behind it.
So what's the current agreement in terms of the time frame for retention of funds and what percentage?
There's currently no agreement around that matter, Chair. Operationally, based on our discussions, we have suspended that matter until we come to some formal agreement.
Why would you not have an agreement that compels the provider to make the funds available within a very short period of time? And I would think that would be a matter of a few days, not 45 days, certainly not a week. I mean, you know, you have RTGS, you have ACH, none of these things take a protracted period of time.
ODPEM has committed to resolving the matter as quickly as possible.
Meanwhile, ODPEM is seeking to reassure the public that the Support Jamaica Disaster Relief Platform remains under government control. In a statement today, ODPEM said the platform, which was developed by technology company Amber following Hurricane Beryl and expanded after Hurricane Melissa, operates under the government's authority. The agency stressed that Amber has never received, held, or controlled donations made through the platform, with all funds deposited directly into government accounts. However, ODPEM acknowledged delays in transferring the platform's data to a government hosting environment and says the migration process will now begin immediately. And it's time for a break. We have more local stories when we return.
The opposition People's National Party has described as disingenuous the comments made by local government Minister Desmond McKenzie about the level of funding allocated to municipal corporations. The mayors of the municipal corporation provided an account of how the funds are spent during a press briefing today. Jamila Maitland explains.
Opposition spokesperson on local government Natalie Nita Garvey has hit back at Minister of Local Government and Community Development Desmond McKenzie about the allocations to municipal corporations to maintain roads and drains.
The total monthly allocations available to the municipal corporations do not support the minister's claim of over $600 million monthly. The average monthly subvention paid over to all municipal corporations is about $473 million.
Backing her were the mayors and minority leaders of a few of the municipal corporations. The Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation receives a lion's share of the funding, with an average $85 million monthly for 40 divisions. The Hanover Municipal Corporation received the least, with $13 million monthly for 7 divisions. Kingston's Mayor Andrew Swaby argues that the funding is inadequate.
If there are drains to be clean, we have to use from the Power Worker Revenue Fund. If there are bushing to be done, it has to be used from the Power Worker Revenue Fund. If there are retaining walls to be built, it has to be used from the Power Worker Revenue Fund.
Others point to the disparity in the allocations, which are subject to mandatory deductions.
Deductions come to about 38% of that 25 or 24 million. We are now left with approximately $700,000 to $750,000 per division per month. This money is supposed to be used to do road rehabilitation, fixing of sidewalks, doing drain cleaning. And I can tell you that we have drains in Westmoreland that to clean such a drain from end to end properly will take you into the millions.
The councillors admit that there are other forms of revenue streams, but they are inconsistent when compared to the allocation from government. Additionally, inadequate staffing at the corporations impacts enforcement strategies.
Market fees, parks, transportation centers, places of amusement, cemeteries, home burial, barbers, hairdressers, butchers, trade license, building plans, subdivision, and rental of properties. But there are some which is a one-time payment. For example, barbers and hairdressers, butchers, one-time payment for those entities.
According to the councillors, the issue is worse in Western Jamaica due to Hurricane Melissa. Municipal corporations that depend greatly on amusement licenses for entertainment events or market fees from vendors are impacted because of the loss of physical infrastructure. The councillors argue that Minister McKenzie's statements that the corporations receive between $600 and $700 million is disingenuous. Mrs. Nita Garvey says the minister should publish a list of the full allocation for municipal corporations.
Show the Jamaican people exactly what is allocated. Show what is disbursed. Show what requires ministerial approval and has been languishing. Show what municipal corporations are genuinely free to spend.
Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
Chief Justice Brian Sykes is calling on key partners, including forensic services, to improve turnaround times. Speaking at the official opening of a new record center and mediation booth, Justice Sykes stressed that justice delayed can have irreversible consequences. Sandy Williams reports.
A step forward for Jamaica's justice system. New mediation booths and a modern records center are now in operation, designed to streamline court processes and reduce delays.
That role and function of mediation that has been promoted by the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs is a critical part of the array of dispute resolution mechanisms offered by the courts. So that it ties in with records management. Because when the files come into court, the referral and the mediation takes place in the context of what is submitted in the files.
According to Chief Justice Brian Sykes, proper record keeping is not just administrative, it can be life-changing.
Because sometimes some situation may have occurred, a person may have been acquitted of a criminal offense, but he has no record of that fact. And he or she may have to return to the court to get a copy of the fact of that acquittal. It may seem like a simple thing, but in the age in which we live, employment opportunities can turn on being able to prove that you have been acquitted of a criminal offense.
He warns that poor records management can undermine confidence in the justice system and create unnecessary frustration for citizens. International standards, he notes, require files to be retrieved within minutes and maintained with near-perfect accuracy. But delays are not limited to record storage.
Those responsible for the analysis of biological samples, particularly DNA, must recognize that when you have unnecessary delay in the hearing and disposition of a criminal matter or even a civil matter, it is actually a violation of the person's constitutional rights. What if the DNA comes back and
court records are preserved? TVJ News.
The government has admitted that the container houses have taken a while to get to the persons impacted by Hurricane Melissa, but insists it had to conduct its due diligence during the verification process. One of the containerized houses were handed over to a resident in Westmoreland earlier today. Kimberly Petty has the details.
This is what's left of Glenville Forest's home after Hurricane Melissa ravaged sections of the island. The 74-year-old man who's unable to walk was forced to stay with his neighbors in their unfinished home. Today, Mr. Forrest is a homeowner once again after being one of the first recipients of the government's container homes in Westmoreland. His daughter Charmaine accepted it on his behalf. She says the home will bring much needed comfort and relief to the family.
It was ackling with my father because of knowing that he cannot walk. It was so struggling, especially with my stepmother. It was so rough on her, but to manage him, to lift him up.
The government came under heavy criticism by the opposition due to the length of time it was taking for the container houses to get to the island, so shelteries and schools could be relocated. Minister with responsibility for land titling and land settlement, Robert Montague, explained why.
Yes, the process has taken a little while to get going, but this is the first time we are attempting something like this in Jamaica on this scale. And therefore, there are a lot of I's to dot and T's to cross, because you will always have the set of persons who want to find fault. You cannot get away from those. And they play their part in the governance structure. So we ensure that we verified and made sure that the persons who have been selected have been properly verified.
Following a visit to the Shoebury site in Pitchersfield, Mr. Montague said 20 units have been committed, 10 of which are 90% completed. A total of
a unit, which is another studio, donated as a gift from the government and people of
who has been vocal about the delay of the distribution of the container homes, says he's anticipating the speedy provision of the units.
Persons are really anxious as to when they will be getting the benefits because many persons are still out there living under substandard conditions. You would have seen the many tarpaulins around the place when you're passing, so many persons are still out there desirous of this level of attention and this level of help.
Over 1,400 modular units were procured by the government to assist the families displaced by Hurricane Melissa. Kimberly Petty, TVJ News.
The Manchester police say they will be targeting lottery scammers as they increase their presence and operations to reduce murders and shootings. The announcement was made following a walkthrough of 2 communities on Monday. Krista Campbell has details.
Lottery scamming activity is causing a serious impact in the division,
And if you, the citizens of Manchester, don't stand up with the police officer, it is only going to get worse.
And so, Deputy Superintendent Natalie Hall-Williams wants residents to report suspicious criminal activities. She specifically challenged parents to pay keener attention to their children's actions, noting a lot of criminal activities are happening right under their noses.
14-year-old, 18, 60-odd persons, when you check the phone, they have lead sheet. Tell me, a 14-year-old, what is it that they're doing with the lead sheet? We leave a lot on police officers, so something happen. And the first thing that you want to do is to take your child to the police station and say, officer, my son, my daughter giving me problem. Treat with it. It starts with you.
DSP Williams wants parents to question actions like an unemployed child asking them to put vehicles in their names.
You check your child bag and it starts with a pencil. It starts with a ruler. You don't ask questions to say, where did you get it? I did not give you that ruler. I did not give you that pen. But you say nothing, and that's how it starts. They leave school. You don't know of them being gainfully employed. Under a certain age, you cannot go to buy a lottery ticket or cash pot or whatever it is. And they come in and they have an high-end vehicle.
Now, while she insisted on the successes of curfews in helping to reduce crime in adjoining communities, she assured the residents that the times are constantly being reviewed against the crime threats in respective communities.
We had an incident up by Greenville. The bar was open until 1:30. Now the law says bar must be closed, whether you're a tavern or you are a village retail, it must be closed at 12 midnight. In some locations like Old England, the location is under curfew. And it's one of our measures that we put in place. It's a temporary measure.
23 murders have been recorded in Manchester since the start of 2026. But DSP Hall-Williams says new crime-fighting strategies will shake things up for the criminals.
I know in short order, you are going to see reductions in murder, reduction in shooting.
Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
A development in St. Thomas is sparking concern among residents who fear it could block their long-standing access to a nearby beach. They say support development, but not at the expense of public access. Yannick Williams has the details.
Where is the space for the community? That call from residents in eastern St. Thomas has tensions heightened over access to the beach and the open land in Barking Lodge and the new pier in the parish. Residents explain that the development by former politician Pernell Charles Sr. has been ongoing for some time, but it was recently fenced.
This beach is a public beach for the community. We have a lady in here, Miss Mimi, in all our youth them down there so. Down at the beach, cook, eat and drink and marry herself till when it a touch night, she carry them up. But this gate never lock or nothing never there, so it occupy for the community.
Residents insist the issue is not about stopping development, but protecting what they consider a shared community resource.
We are not against development, but my concern is they have so much land, they say. So why can't they take it somewhere else? Why didn't bring it in the community itself? They have so much land.
Family. The Charles' family who feel so entitled.
Residents are now hoping discussions between the developer elected representatives and the government agency continue while preserving access to the beach.
The gate have to move from here, so I will not stop demonstrate with the gate move from here, so. She don't have no right to make a gate just on a lock road.
Residents say they remain hopeful that a compromise can be reached, ensuring the development moves forward without cutting off access to the beach that have served the community for generations. Yannick Williams, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, the developers behind the project are pushing back against the criticisms. In a statement from former MP Dr. Michelle Charles, and the daughter of Pernell Charles Sr., She insisted the development is being carried out on private property with the necessary approvals from government agencies. She also sought to reassure the public that beach access remains available through a designated route while acknowledging that an adjacent culvert is unsafe and closed to vehicles pending repairs. The developers further addressed concerns about ponds being constructed near Barking Lodge Primary School, saying no water would be introduced until the area is securely fenced. They warned that any threats or interference with the project will be reported to the police and dealt with through the appropriate legal channels. And we take another break now, but stay with us. More stories when we return.
Welcome back, and we're continuing the news. Following the reopening of the multi-million-dollar Yallahs market in St. Thomas, the facility remains unused except for the parking lot. Janella Precious has details.
The Yallahs market reopened in March this year after a $20 million renovation project by the Ministry of Local Government. The renovation saw improvements in vending spaces, lighting, and new sanitary facilities. Fast forward to the present, and the vending space inside remains empty, while on the outside, vendors sell their goods in the parking lot.
We was on the road and was doing pretty good on the road. Yet they said that they want the market for open. We appreciate, yes, the market open, but yet at the end of the day, we come inside the market and we don't have any customers. No customers whatsoever. We are here the whole day and we're just sitting and looking at each other because people said they are not coming across the road to come inside of the market.
But it's risky doing business on the streets as the police have increased enforcement. We were told that absolutely no vending will be allowed. The vendors say not enough is being done by the municipal corporation to promote the facility. They pointed us to this fallen sign, which they argue symbolizes how the local authority has treated the matter.
We want the market with more upliftment, more people come in the market and more, sell more. We want the market more sell. Nobody that sell. There's for winter, this more pay of the market that not started as yet. So we don't know when they're going to start the pay of the market. Fix up the market more officially, make people can start around the market, they shop and think, go to the market, make people see the market and see how the market develop. Aware that people can see the market, come inside the market. So
only 2 times a week I can come in here. It's my things them there. From Christmas I have my things them here, not selling. Only 2 times I can come in here. Because the market is not fixing. Every morning I come here, I have to throw water for dust. The dust them mash up my things and things like that.
We thought that of the development in St. Thomas, because we got road and everything, we thought that we'd have a better facility here in St. Thomas where the market will be better for, people coming in to support us, but we are not getting any support. Most people go to Morant because them say they have better facility in Morant Bay.
The improvements to the main structure of the Yallahs market is the first phase of a wider plan. Phase 2 will see the building of stalls outside the main building where the parking lot will also be paved. This will be done to the tune of $12 million. TVJ News, however, understands that some vendors have not adhered to notices to remove illegal structures located on the perimeter of the market. Once the work begins, the vendors will have no choice but to relocate inside the facility.
And it's time now for the responses from our friends on Facebook and X to this question: what are your views on regulating social media use for children? Our first response comes from Dixon, who says, great idea, kids are easily influenced, parents protect your children by any means necessary. We have another response from Claudette, who said, should happen long time, but nothing before the time. Audley says, while I support tighter rules for minors, simple age verification systems alone are easy for tech-savvy kids to bypass, and many of them are far brighter than parents where these matters are concerned. Now keep those comments coming. Facebook.com/television Jamaica and post on X at TVJ News Center. The Business Day and news from overseas are after the break.
Primetime News.